So upcoming Friday nights, me and the degenerate boys that we are, we're coming back with the betting show.
You look at the way he bounces off tacklers, the way that he keeps his eyes downfield, his vision, his ability to find holes, his pass catching ability, right? Because he had.
In my lifetime, I'd put him at probably around the 2 area, with again the only other person up there being King Ricky.
Anthony Richardson or Caleb Williams at the 111.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? And yeah, it's Wednesday, Bolton.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Is this new?
This is new.
Oh
What's up,
my!
everybody?
What are we doing today, boys?
We are going to talk about the NFL in review for Week 3. That is what we're doing. Hi, my name is Jacob Krogan. You can follow me at BSing Sports Bets on Twitter. And as always, my co-host, Jared Bolton. And today we are just going to talk about the NFL Week 3 in review. And what a weird week it was.
Another weird week where Vegas always wins.
Vegas always wins.
It's a weird week, and I hope we start getting. Vegas is going to get better with the lines, right? This isn't so much a betting as much as like just going over the whole week in review. But I hope that we can get some sort of consistency in these teams. Vegas is going to get better at the lines, which are going to make mine and your jobs harder for our Friday podcast.
As always.
But man, there were some games in here. I tell you what, that it ruined everybody's parlays, and we're going to dive into it. We're going to do the good, the bad, what we saw, and then we're also going to talk about how confident are we in these teams? You know, the teams that won, the teams that lost. Are we confident they're going to bounce back, or are we confident that these teams are still going to fail down the road?
Oh yeah.
So, I'm excited. I'm excited to dive in. You know, did a little bit of research, just finally watching all the games over now that it's Wednesday, just in time for tomorrow, where we actually get to watch the Week 4 games.
Oh man, you can't. I need to be able to get you to share comments here, but
yeah, I know.
I'll pull that up.
It'll happen. Yeah, I've only been asking for it for 4 weeks now.
Oh yeah. Shout out to my fella.
Do we want to talk about the Jets game, considering we kind of talked about it throughout the weekend, or are we just going to get rid of the Thursday game?
I mean, we can talk about the Thursday game real quick if you want to, but it doesn't really matter to me.
I think we could pass on the Thursday game just because we talked about it a bunch on Friday and Saturday. We knew that Aaron Rodgers came out and played great and was elusive and ran all over the place and dismantled a failing Patriots team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm having a bad dream and I can't wake up from what's happening to the Cowboys. Yes, D-Money, buddy. It is a bad time to be you. That is for sure. The Cowboys are last in their division, and we're going to kick it off with a team that's ahead of them. The New York Giants went to the Browns and beat them 21-15. You can follow along. If you didn't get to watch this Sunday, great recap here for the entire slate. That's what we're here to do. And boom, start it off. How do you feel about this game?
I hated this game. We talked about it a little bit Friday going into the betting week. We knew that this game was just going to be terrible offenses, and God, was it. I don't want to put all of the hate on Deshaun Watson because this man gets hit every other play. It seems like, if not, every play, gets sacked more than anybody I know. Like, this dude is just running for his life, but 2 terrible offenses battle it out. What's crazy is Cleveland started out really hot. It was like 14-0 or 14-7, in the first quarter, and then they just couldn't get anything going. Jerome Ford looked like not very good. I don't even know. And then I can't even give any props to the Giants because they had so many opportunities to pull this game out of reach, and they just kept letting the Browns back in it. It was an interesting game if you're a fan of either of these 2 poverty franchises, but God, it was a terrible watch for anybody else.
Poverty franchises, love to see it.
What do you think about it? I mean, Malik Neighbors got his, obviously, but other than that, I don't know. I can't say that Daniel Jones did anything to,
wow you
buying his $40 million at all. I think he is the reason that they are now 1-2.
Man, that's a crazy take right there. He's the reason that they're 1-2.
Yeah.
Man,
what do you think?
But yeah, Deshaun Watson had He had a decent game on the stat line if that's what you're looking at here. But yeah, you see the 8
It
sacks
all
right
happened in
there.
the first quarter. And then he did nothing.
Oh well, yeah, no, but 8 sacks. The Giants got after him, and yeah, Malik Neighbors continues to eat. Uh, and then Wandale Robinson, if you look right below him, I mean, he gets 8 targets too, so he's a quiet receiver doing his job like he always does. It's good to see him healthy.
Yep.
And I mean, this might be the best offense Daniel Jones has ever had. So we will see.
I like Wandale. Wandale is coming in the form of being a pretty decent. I'm not putting him top 15 in terms of number 2 wide receivers, but he is a decent number 2 option. I do like his speed. I do like his over the top capability. I am a fan of Wandale and what he's doing down there with what he has. I will say that.
I agree with you there. So how are we feeling about the New York Giants then?
I hate this team, right? So there were so many times in this game where they had the ability to put this game out of reach and they just could not do it, right? There are so many times that they're getting penalties, they're putting themselves in 3rd and 8s, they're putting themselves in 3rd and 15s, and they're throwing comeback routes 10 yards down the field. So now you're asking your wide receivers to make 5 extra yards on a comeback route. The play calling doesn't make sense to me. Deshaun Watson, it was kind of the same for him. Like neither of these two teams can just get the ball where it needs to be. If it is 3rd and 15, why are you throwing
Pull your mic
8
a
yards
little
down the
away.
field? Huh?
Pull your mic a little away from your mouth.
Sorry.
There you go. You're good. No
But
worries.
it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not confident in these teams. The Browns consistently punted and gave the ball to the Giants all through the second half of that game to put it away, and they just couldn't. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Giants at all. I think that they played a Cleveland Browns team that is going to be sub 500, and they squeaked away a win that they should not have even had, realistically.
Think the Browns missed Joe Flacco?
I don't know if it's the O line or if it's the quarterback play. I tell you
Ooh.
what,
BBC.
BB, you stay till the end. We'll talk about tomorrow's game, and I've got some pretty good takes on that game as well.
No, man.
Yeah,
Our
we'll
group
talk
chat
about
got
Thursday. You know
heated
what?
this afternoon.
We won't talk about the last week's Thursday on this podcast, and we'll talk about the coming up Thursday and what to expect to give you guys a little taste of what like Friday and Saturday kind of looks like. And we'll talk about that at the end because I do have some good takes on what's probably going to happen there.
I know exactly what's going to happen. So,
Devin Singletary over 100.
no, definitely. Definitely.
Oh,
We
thanks.
appreciate it,
We're
BB.
kind of cool. We're probably not very good at sports, but we have a good time. You know, we
Well, we
joke
talk a
around.
lot of shit at least.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's kind of
exactly.
part of it. But
What do you
like
feel
they
about these
say,
teams? What do you feel about these teams, Jake?
give me 1 second. But BB, like you said, please like and subscribe. It just helps us build this, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to talk sports and give the best information and entertain y'all the best we can. So,
Yeah, now you're gonna
jumping back
step away.
into it, I absolutely love the Giants for one reason only, and that is Malik Neighbors. Outside of that, I could care less about them. And I do not think they are going to be a playoff team, but I think they are going to play teams hard like they did against the Browns. The Browns have a great defense. People forget about that. And so I see them
Do they have
competing.
a great defense though? They let the Cowboys score what? How many? 41 on them?
Okay, that was the first week, buddy. First week, didn't play any of the starters.
I'll give you
And
that.
what have the Cowboys done since then?
Exactly, which is my point on like maybe their defense isn't that good.
I mean, we'll see. And then the Cleveland Browns, they're just they're lost, completely lost.
And I don't think Amari has as many targets and receptions as he does if it's not for the
Fair
fourth
enough,
quarter, 30-yard bombs that
Fair enough.
that the Browns have to throw to try to get into range to score this at the end of the game. Also, Amari did make some hell of a catches, and so did Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors had one on the sideline where he literally stole it out of the corner's hands. Like, this is mine. This is a hell of a catch.
But if y'all can't see right here, we have where they're ranked. Both teams are in third in their respective divisions. Bolton, do you think they finished there?
I think Giants finished last, and I know for a fact the Browns. No, you know what? The way that the Bengals are playing, it'll be a fight for third with the Browns and Bengals, realistically.
Okay. And then up next, we had the Green Bay Packers go to the Tennessee Titans, where Green Bay won 30-14.
You got to do the
And
pose.
man,
You got to do the
the
pose.
Malik Willis show is all I got to say about this. Green Bay looks good. Their defense looks outstanding. Granted, they went against Will Levis, who, tends to throw the ball to the opposing defense way too much. As you can see, he had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then Malik Willis just continues to not put the ball in harm's way and lets that team eat.
Look at that, like essentially a zone read offense. Malik Willis only threw 19 times, 6 incompletions, which were probably very like harmless incompletions.
Yep.
And that zone run that they did, I have to give credit to Matt LaFleur here on completely redoing their offense and saying, when we have Jordan Love healthy, we're going to go 4 wide receiver sets, every snap of the ball. And then Malik Willis, and they're like, you know what? Your strength is running. We're going to give you, 12 zone reads, and you took 6 of them for 73 yards and a tutty. It's a completely different offense. You got to give credit where credit's due there.
Oh, yeah. No, he looked great. And I love to see it. The Packers have a dangerous team, I think, and Jordan Love should be back this week. So, continue to see them put up points like this. And Tennessee's defense is not something to, laugh at.
I hate that Tennessee's defense is constantly going to rank in the bottom, but that's because they are always on the field and they're constantly starting off at like the 40-yard line because of turnovers.
There was a pick 6 in this game, and so the Green Bay Packers it was 23 points.
Yeah.
So,
Jari got his. You got to give it to him. Jari's still a monster.
That's his first pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him. Will Levis, don't know if he's the answer, but, he's young. He's fearless. He's going to throw the ball. So, how do you feel about the Tennessee Titans?
Well, I will say one thing that kind of sticks out to me before I give my take on them is I didn't watch much of this game, but just looking at the carries, I knew that the Tennessee Titans were down early. I get that, but the fact that they completely abandoned the run game and the averages were so low tells me that their D-line for the Packers absolutely dominated Tennessee's O-line. And for them to just completely abandon the run, hell, Tony Pollard, they only gave their running backs the ball 8 times in that whole game. Like, that is just something you cannot do. I'm not confident in the Tennessee Titans at all. I am confident that Will Levis can figure it out. He's making
That's a hot take.
he's making mistakes, yes, but if he can get a good offensive coordinator in there, a QB guru, somebody like a Bruce Arians that can really show him the reads, and hey, if nothing's there, get rid of the damn ball. Don't almost get sacked and then throw a pick 6, going the other way, like he did in week 1. Like, come on, we don't need to be doing that.
I don't think he has that time. They're 0-3 right now. They're probably going to have a high draft pick. They're probably going to take a quarterback. That's just kind of how I see this going.
Do you take Carson? Like, who do you take though? Their offense, I don't even know what to think about their offense. Like they've got a shell of DeAndre Hopkins. He's about to retire. And then you have who? Calvin Ridley, who's coming up on 30 years old.
Boyd.
And you have Tyler Boyd, who is a perennial number 3 wide receiver. Like, I'm not completely convinced that this isn't a Panthers situation where it's kind of like, what do you have around you? Tony Pollard, who they gave a lot of money to sign in free agency, he's coming off his worst year with the Cowboys. He averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, he did. But
I think I'd be surprised if they win 4 games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're gonna have a high draft pick, but I agree, or I don't know if that's where you're going. I don't trust any quarterbacks in this draft yet. I haven't been blown away by any of them. No. This might be one of the weakest quarterback drafts, but that is for a different day.
Quinn Ewers is the number 2 quarterback on most draft boards. Somebody that is he's okay at throwing, but his bread and butter is running and escaping, and he almost reminds me of a Colt McCoy, and it's that's not sustainable. It's not good.
Fair enough.
I don't see it.
Moving along here, Tennessee is at the bottom of their board, and Green Bay is in 3rd place. in a division with Minnesota and Detroit. And man, so you think they stay here or not?
Oh, dude, I think Green Bay stays where they're at, but they still make a wild card because their division is just absolutely brutal. I think the Packers are going to go 10-7, make the wild card along with 10-7 Detroit, and give me 12-5 Vikings.
I got
That's
you.
what I think. And the Jags will figure it out eventually. The Titans are going to be dead last in their division.
I got you. Next game up here is the Chicago Bears. They went to Indianapolis and lost to the Colts 16-21, as you can see. And I mean, everybody's like, what the hell were you thinking? 4th and 1, you're running the speed option. You got offensive linemen on the ground looking
The
stupid.
offensive linemen were taking each other out. If you watch that play, it is hilarious how
it's
just
so
piss
bad.
poor
It was
every
absolutely
aspect of that
terrible.
was. The only dude that actually successfully connected on that chop block on the speed option was the right guard, the weak side guard of where that was going. He was the only one that actually managed to chop down the dude in front of him.
Oh, dude, they
It's
big
pitiful.
whiffs. It was bad.
It was pitiful.
Caleb Williams went 33 of 52. He threw for 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Man's playing hero ball every time I watch him. And Pete, if you're watching, buddy, feel free to tune in or
Yeah, give us your
send a
take
comment. I
because
want to
you're
know
probably
what
not
the
going to like our
Bears
take.
fans think. Kotler, man, if you're watching, the Bears don't look good.
No.
He's the first to message me anytime the Broncos look bad. So I'm so glad that the Bears haven't looked good. Sorry, Pete.
God,
But
there's one stat that sticks out to me in particular, and you can continue what you were saying. Sorry, Jake. Caleb
no, you're good.
Williams
Go
threw
ahead.
the ball 52 times. They only scored 16 points. If you were
Well,
throwing
you saw
50,
what that offensive line was doing. I mean, you trust them to run block?
no, and you got to think about it. DeAndre Swift, look at his carries, 13 carries. They actually let him touch it 13 times. He only got 20 yards. He averaged 1.5 yards a carry. DeAndre Swift is not good. That is going to be the worst free agency signing of the year. He is terrible. They have no run game.
Oh, man. I mean, you look up there, though, you got Roschon Johnson going 8 carries for 30 yards. I mean, he almost got 4 yards a carry at 3.8.
Almost got what you should be getting.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, why not try him? Maybe he's a sleepy pick here for any
If
fantasy
I'm the
lovers.
Bears, I'm trying fucking anything. Next game, Roshan gets 75% of the carries, realistically.
Just trying the ground and pound and take a little bit of the heat off of the Chicago or off of Caleb Williams there.
Oh my God. And then like when you watch this game, this is what I thought the Giants and Browns were going to be, where it's we don't want to win. Let's just play hot potato the whole time.
There's a Miles Sanders this year.
It was a mess. Caleb Williams had 2 picks and a fumble. Anthony Richardson's had 2 picks and should have had probably 3 or 4 balls that were, there were probably 2 other interceptions that were dropped. The only reason the Colts came out on top on this game is because Jonathan Taylor said, "I'm going to win this game." If it was ever put in Anthony Richardson's hands, they were not going to win this game because Anthony Richardson did not want the ball. And Caleb Williams did the same thing. Caleb Williams made it the game at the end, but I mean, shit, it was what 9 or 10-21 with 4 minutes left in the game, and they made it 16-21. Like neither team wanted to win this game.
Yeah, no, the Colts to me, same thing. I have a terrible feeling about Anthony Richardson. He looks like he can't throw the ball. I'm going to give him the Josh Allen treatment. He'll get next year for me just because I want to see 3 years in the offense.
We gotta understand this is only like his maybe 6th actual NFL game, so we could almost classify him as a rookie.
You totally could, and I'm not negating that.
But I'm not going to discredit the fact that this motherfucker threw for 50% completion percentage. He was 10 for 20. That is brutal.
Dude,
Bo Nix doesn't throw for 50% completion rating.
Okay, first of all, Bo Nix is the
most
accurate college quarterback of all time. And
my bad.
Anthony Richardson coming out of college is throwing the same percentage that he's
Bo Nix
throwing
is the
right
best
now.
college quarterback of all time because he played for 8 years.
Okay, now.
Bo Nix is the same age as Justin Fields.
Okay, cool. And I'd take Bo Nix over Justin Fields. Oh, yeah. Any day.
You're high.
But do you think Bears fans miss Justin Fields?
Yeah. I think they're starting to. It's not Justin Fields' fault. So they're terrible offensive play calling. Terrible
Okay.
offensive play calling.
Hard to fix accuracy in the pros, but we've seen it. I know Josh Allen is the outlier. I'm not saying that he's going to be Josh Allen. I'm just saying he's the build for it. Josh Allen, also inaccurate, as everybody knows. So, like, you can see.
Pull up Tim's thing again for the accuracy.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
Tim.
so fun fact, when Baker, this is the example that I have that it can't happen, right? And see regression midway through it. Baker came from Lincoln Riley, who is a quarterback guru, came into the
Mhm.
league and lit it up and had great fundamentals. The longer he stayed on the Browns, the worse his fundamentals got because his, O line was ass. He's playing through injuries, shoulder injuries. This dude's playing through everything. Then he goes down to the Buccaneers, where he's got a better coordinator, better head coach, and you can see that he's throwing the ball better with more confidence, and that it's a lot more accurate because of his fundamentals. So you can fix it. You just need the right people in place to actually still look at that. We have a hard time with offensive coordinators and head coaches. They get too worried about play calling and not too much about, they just kind of say, screw the fundamentals. So it is doable.
Fair enough. And the True Six King says, this ain't college, Jake. This is where NFL, or this is the NFL where boys become men. Yes.
I like all this shit talking on Bo Nix, but he won.
Yeah. He got a dub. Not only, we'll get to that game.
Oh,
Save that. We will save that.
I didn't even watch that game just to let you have the whole 3 minutes. I
Just to
purposely
let me
did
have
not
the
even watch the
spotlight
game.
for it?
You can tell me about the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I got you. But Indianapolis is in second at 1-2 in their division, and the Chicago Bears are in dead last for their division. Do you see any changes for these teams? You see any bright future?
I see Jacksonville and Indy coming down to the wire at the end for that second spot. Tennessee is going to be there. Chicago's going to stay where they're at.
Okay, I got you, Mr. Hiccups.
Sorry. That was a burp.
No, you're good,
That was a burp,
buddy.
wasn't a hiccup.
Up next, we had what I thought was going to be a great game, and it turned into an absolute smacking, dude.
I called
The
it.
Houston Texans went to the Minnesota Vikings, and boy, let me tell you what.
I think
It
I was
did
one
not
of two
look good.
people to call the Vikings winning this game.
I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah.
But, dude, the Vikings, they look legit. They look
They are
so good right
legit.
now. And
I
Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold's looking good. He leads the NFL in passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud did not have a good game. So is the Vikings defense good, or what's going on here?
So CJ Stroud, when I was watching the tape, he made a lot of really good throws. He had 2 interceptions. One was on the first play of the game that got batted and picked by a linebacker. That's, kind of unfortunate. That's just the Vikings D line playing really well. The second one was an overthrow, and CJ Stroud walking to the sideline said, "I take full responsibility for that pick." But other than that, CJ Stroud threw a lot of really good balls. I just think that Sam Darnold right now, he's not seeing ghost anymore. He's confident in the pocket. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's actually starting to look like a first round draft pick. And this is going to sound crazy, but if you watch the tape, Sam Darnold reminds me a lot of Joe Burrow this year.
Man, that's interesting.
Dude, I'm telling you, go watch the game. Just go.
I watched.
No,
it.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling the viewers. It's gonna sound insane. I'm telling you, go watch what Sam Darnold is doing, stepping up in the pocket, taking off when he needs to. He is absolutely money. He is throwing on a rope right now. That dude is on one.
Mateo said, should I trade Josh Jacobs for Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams?
I said
Another one is Neighbors, but that might be a reach. If this is redraft, I think you should absolutely try and trade for Neighbors. I think that is the
even
only
dynasty.
move there.
Even dynasty, I'm taking Neighbors all the way.
Oh, well, yeah. And then as far as dynasty goes, you're taking Devontae Smith over Josh Jacobs, I think, and Devontae Adams, you're not touching. That Raiders team is something else.
I like Josh Jacobs, man. They are running the ball. Granted, it's going to change when Jordan Love comes back, but man, they are running it, man. I like Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing last year. Let's not forget, this dude is a baller.
Yeah, no. But back to this game. Yeah, no, the Texans just got smacked, dude. The Vikings have done it to now the Texans, who were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, and they did it to the 49ers last week, who were in the Super Bowl last year and were Super Bowl hopefuls this year too.
Yeah.
And so Stephon Diggs continues to get receptions, 12 targets. Nico Collins is the wide receiver one on that team, though. He had 10 targets. But
I don't think he
Justin
got his first.
Jefferson.
I don't think he got his first catch until like late in the second quarter.
But I mean, the 21.5 average there, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mateo says, I like Josh too, but Emmanuel Wilson is pretty good too. Emmanuel Wilson is the third running back on that roster there. Right now, their rookie running back's hurt. So to me, I get it, but if you need a receiver, I would go after those two receivers we talked about and get rid of Josh Jacobs there personally. We appreciate the questions. Always love the questions.
Yeah, we do like interaction. I will say one thing about this game though that isn't talked about enough is the bend don't break Vikings defense. I want to say the Texans got into plus territory 3 or 4 times and they didn't get any points out of it. Like they were there. They were there. They just couldn't do anything with it. Kai Fairborn missed a kick. They went on 4th and missed it. They couldn't capitalize. Like you're right there. You're so close to getting points and they just couldn't to even make it a game.
Man, you got fans, Bolton. Mateo saying that
What?
Joe and Sam comparison's crazy, but he likes it too because he can see it.
That Joe and Sam. Wait. Oh yeah.
Your Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold comparison?
Yeah, dude. I'm
Man,
telling
that's a hot
you.
take.
Look at that. Look at the film, dude. He is throwing balls on a rope.
He's
right
confident, dude, and it just goes to show that the Jets
Yeah.
just destroy quarterbacks,
just
dude.
destroyed him, dude. And his,
Destroyed his
when he's out there
confidence.
seeing ghosts, like you're so worried about where that linebacker is. And like I watched that game, and he's got 2 dominant edge rushers with the Texans coming off, and man, he is just stepping right up and just delivering strikes. He is playing lights out right now.
Oh yeah, he knows where to go with the football, and I mean it's pretty easy. Win, like Mateo says, Jay Jetta, baby.
Yeah.
That man is quarterback proof. That man is always going to be open. Get that man the ball.
So, and like this is my number one thing too that people don't understand. The Vikings are playing with one hand tied behind their back right now. They have no TJ Hawkinson and they have no Jordan Addison. They're getting their wide receivers 2 and 3 back. Like Jordan Addison will be back in probably a week or 2, and then Hawkinson they're scheduling for like a week 7 or week 8 return. And then boom, you've got 3 monster targets to throw to.
Yeah, defenses are going to find it hard to figure that out. But yeah, I agree with you, Hawkins. Darnold was the 3rd pick, I'm pretty sure, of that draft. And people forget that. All they think about is the Jets. And it seems like a lifetime ago, but that was only 4 years ago?
Yeah, he did 3 years of the Jets, got traded to the 49ers. This is his 5th year.
Yeah.
Because he did 1 year sitting behind Purdy, but it's not even about sitting behind Purdy. It's more or less just sitting there listening to Kyle Shanahan and what in the hell he's got to say. Realistically, that's a mastermind of an offense.
Just sitting there. So Minnesota Vikings, we've been on this game for a hot minute. Minnesota's at the top of 3-0, and Houston's at the top of 2-1. You think these guys finish the division like that?
No.
I
think Detroit takes it.
He did do a year in Carolina.
Yeah, that is right.
So this might be a 6th year.
Yeah, him and Baker Mayfield went to Carolina, right? No, Baker went to the Rams.
No, Baker went to Carolina and then the Rams.
Yeah.
And then he played the one game straight off the bus, beat the brakes off the Broncos.
Yeah.
I will forever hate Baker Mayfield for that.
Yeah.
The next game on the docket here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, for all the Eagles lovers in the world.
Oh, man.
We have the Philadelphia Eagles went into New Orleans and beat the Saints 15-12 in what some will talk about as the worst, best game ever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I called. I said the Saints are going to eventually fall down to reality. The Eagles secondary is going to play lights out for no reason at all. It's just how the NFL goes.
Oh yeah.
And Dallas Goedert decided that he was going to go for 170 yards. Fun fact: he's also the 8th fastest ball carrier in the NFL right now at like 20.5 miles per hour.
I don't know if you watched that run though, and I thought it was funny because I just thought it was my brain.
Yeah.
He's hauling it, and then all of a sudden he just slows down, and you're like, "What? What
Yeah,
happened?"
8th fastest ball carrier in the NFL currently
Yeah, but
for a
Derek,
6'5", 240-pound tight end.
this is why you don't look at stats because I know that the Eagles fans that are watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at these stats, 29 to 38 for 311 yards. I mean, he threw a pick, and then you look down and you see, oh, a fumble, the turnovers. He got the yardage.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I watched this, the Eagles were driving, and then they would just do something to mess it up.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and the Saints, they looked lost, and the Eagles' defensive line looked really good, in my opinion. They showed up. Jalen Carter is a monster.
Yeah.
Absolute monster.
They had a safety over top at all times and said Shaheed is not going to get a 60-yard post route. It is not happening.
Well, he also dropped that 40-yard bomb.
Yeah.
It straight off the face mask.
Yeah. But Shaheed absolutely ruined my DFS team. 5 targets, 0 catches.
Saints
I
got
do
too
agree.
conservative.
Saints
Fair
got a
enough.
little conservative. What also is a little bit surprising to me is Jalen Hurts threw 38 times, and he did well. Like, don't get me wrong. Like he did pretty decent with what he had. But Saquon Barkley averaging 8 yards or more a carry. Why are they
You got
not
to
feeding
think.
this man 30 times? Just keep giving it to him.
You
Every
got to
other play is
think.
a
He
first
broke
down.
off that 65-yarder or something like that.
Still,
75-yarder.
17
Oh
carries
no,
for an
65. It is. It's right
RB1.
there.
65-yarder. Yes, I know. Yeah, but still, let's 17 carries for an RB1.
No,
Come on.
I get it. I mean, that's what you kind of want to see out of your RB1. You don't want to
Yeah,
kill him.
especially because Devonta Smith went down at some point during that game, and it's like, why
I mean,
not
but
just
only 5 carries in the first half, so they corrected it. And maybe
maybe they
what is
start figuring it like, oh yeah, this guy,
it?
we paid him a lot of money. Let's make sure we're using him to his potential.
What is their head coach name? Steichen?
No,
Uh,
that's UT's coach. You're thinking of Sirianni.
Sirianni. Maybe he'll learn something and just start running the ball. You have
He's got to water
one of the
he's got to water the flowers, dude. You know.
you have one of the best running quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts, and you have one of the best running backs in Saquon Barkley, and you're not running RPOs. You're not like I get it. Like you have AJ Brown. You have such a stacked team.
AJ
And
Brown wasn't even playing, and Devontae got hurt halfway through that game.
yeah. Like why not run? But the Saints, they did Saints things. They show up and then they don't show up, and they're just too inconsistent.
That is a funny
But
stat, Tim. Goddard had more receiving yards than Carr had passing.
that is a good stat. Love that, Hawkins. So to finish this up, Philly is in second place to the Washington Commanders. And New Orleans is at the top right now, tied with Tampa Bay, but they get the tiebreaker right now with less points against. So
Give me Philly winning the division and give me Tampa winning the division. Saints will be second.
okay.
I think they miss out on the wild card solely because of the NFC North.
I could see that. I could see that. Next game on the docket, and man, this one was a snooze fest.
Oh my god.
This one was sad. The Los Angeles Chargers went to the Pittsburgh Steelers and they lost 20-10. The big thing out of this one is Justin Herbert left in the third quarter with a high ankle sprain. He re-aggravated it.
Yeah.
And before then, it was tied 10-10. And I think this game, I'm pretty sure the Chargers were winning at that point.
It was 10-10 when he went down.
Oh, was it?
This game was exactly what everybody expected. It was a Harbaugh versus Tomlin team. There was going to be no offensive firepower. Whose defense is going to be able to hold up? And they held J.K. Dobbins to a not very good stat line, and Najee and that offense did a little bit better. Justin Fields started cooking. He started finding receivers downfield.
Dude, he threw
But
32
man,
times.
what a snooze fest this game was, and we kind of all expected it. It was going to be boring football.
Tim Hawkins here says Fields making it real hard to go back to Wilson. Might not look great, but he's winning. 100%. They're not going back to Russell
No,
Wilson. Russell
you
Wilson
can't.
is the backup quarterback
Yeah.
till Fields decides to turn the ball over 100 times. They are
Which I don't
3-0,
think like
top of the
it's
division.
yeah,
It's not a question.
how do you turn the ball over in a Mike Tomlin offense though, where all you run is slants and runs?
And go balls.
Yeah.
Don't forget the go balls.
Yeah, I can't forget the go balls.
But yeah, Steelers defense, amazing. The Chargers defense is actually pretty good itself right now. You got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack off the edges, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
scary.
a monster defense, and like I said, they're still 2-1. Like this is a good team. They just
Yeah.
got out harballed. That's essentially what it is. Like they both are like, we're going to come into this game and try to take time of possession away from the other team, and they both decided that that's what their offense was going to be about, and Steelers came out on top. But
Oh, yeah.
just a
You also
terrible
got
ball game
Derwin
to watch.
James, who is trying to get suspended for whatever reason. Don't know what's going on in his head. But as far as stats go, Pittsburgh at the top right now. They got a 2-game lead, too,
It won't finish that way.
against the Baltimore and Cleveland Browns. And then the Los Angeles Chargers are in second place at 2-1. What do you think, Bolton? Where are they staying?
I think Vegas jumps LA. No, you know what? LA is going to stay right where they are, but I think Baltimore overtakes Pittsburgh.
Appreciate it, Paul. The only, Los Angeles Chargers fan I've ever
Go
met.
sign on to your fucking Samsung refrigerator and get us an extra view.
The only man I've ever met that is a legit Chargers fan since day one.
Yeah, can't argue it.
Man, poor guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really
He
weird. I
got
have
to
to
see
stop
LP though in
myself.
his prime. That's kind of cool.
I do have to stop myself when saying the Chargers because I want to say San Diego so bad.
I don't know.
Oh, man, up next. I really hope everybody watched the Saturday pick'ems
You take it away.
solely for the if you haven't, just go back and watch the little solo act I got to put on for the Denver Broncos game. It was pretty funny, and of course Denver came out and made me look stupid. It's what they do. But they came out on fire, and Bo Nix looked great. He 25 of 36 for 216 yards, and they shut down that high-flying Baker Mayfield-led offense, and Baker looked like the Baker I was talking shit about all preseason. And he went 25 of 33 for 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He got sacked 7 times. The only good thing for the Buccaneers that I can see right now is that Bucky Irving looks like he might get more carries, and he might be the guy. For all my Broncos fans, our run game looks terrible. I absolutely hate seeing it. Javonte Williams, 5 carries for 12 yards. The only bright spot is Tyler Beatty or Bidet. Announcers called him 18 different things. I don't know his name anymore. But he had 9 carries for 70 yards. He broke off that 43-yarder. But the run game is not going for the Broncos, and it really scares me personally. I don't know what they're going to do, but Courtland Sutton got force-fed the ball. Bo Nix looked very confident in the game. He looked like he knew what he's doing, where he wanted to go with the ball. He was decisive. He didn't have the happy feet like he did. And Tampa has some injuries on defense, but they're still a very good defense. And he carved them apart. He did what he was required to do. There was some bad news for Broncos fans. Alex Singleton hurt his knee in that game, and it was confirmed. He played the entire game, by the way. Alex Singleton's a badass for this. He hurt it in like the first quarter, played every single snap, and it just got confirmed today that he tore his ACL. He'll be out for the rest of the year. And so, sorry, Broncos fans, that's a tough one to hear. It really sucks, but they finally got Troy Franklin out there. He was open. Bo missed him on one, and they got some speed out there, which I think is what the Broncos want. Marvin Mims got out there, and he looked great in the return game. And this was just a full complement Denver Broncos game. All 3 phases look great. Denver's defense looks elite. And the Buccaneers, Baker even came out and said it. He said they overthought this game. They thought they were going to walk in there, beat the shit out of the Broncos, and that's not what happened at all.
They're still a pro team. People forget that.
Yeah. Any given Sunday. Best line ever. But the
Also,
Denver Broncos,
what I do like looking at the receiving, just the whole thing is look how many different receivers Bo Nix managed to find.
yep, 9 different receivers.
Yeah, I do
Yes, it was
enjoy
in Tampa.
looking at that. I do enjoy him like coming out there, the play callers coming out in a whole bunch of different formations to get everybody involved, get Bo Nix different looks, so that way he's not constantly just being berated and having 8 people in the box. The running game still what it is, but yeah, I was surprised to say the least of the outcome of this game, but Denver just came out flat, dude. They were, or not Denver, Buccaneers. Sorry, Tampa
Yeah,
came
you're
out
good.
flat, dude. They essentially thought they were going to walk into this game and and just get handed a win. But this is the NFL. You can't do that.
Nope. And so Denver they're in last place uh, in the division, and Tampa Bay's in second right now behind New Orleans, like we talked about. And you already said you think Tampa's going to win that division. Where do you
Yeah,
think Denver finishes?
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say fuck the Raiders, but I still think Denver finishes fourth.
Okay, that's fair. Hey,
What are you
this
going
is
to
your
say? Hold on,
opinion.
do you got something you want to say?
What?
Where does Denver go?
Oh, Denver probably finishes second.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say, fuck the Raiders and keep it moving. No, he's second. Oh my.
We'll see. If Herbert is not playing because he just keeps getting hurt, I don't trust the Chargers to win very many games.
All right, all right.
They
Yeah,
don't have
I like
receivers.
Tyler Heineke though. Like I think the Chargers are still gonna run their offense just fine.
Hey, the man went 2 for 2 for 24 yards. He just took 4 sacks in a
Yeah,
quarter.
yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
TJ Watt over there getting 18 sacks.
Did he end up hitting 100 on that game? I know the last full sack he had put him at 99 and a half. I don't know if they accredited him for a half sack for the one that the other dude got, but he touched him last second.
I
I don't know if he
honestly
got a
don't know.
half
I'll
sack
have
for
to
that,
look
but
into
I
that.
know TJ Watt was at 99 and a half sacks.
Whoo, doggy.
What
Also,
a
if you watch
game.
the Saturday
This
show,
is where Vegas literally screwed everybody.
oh man, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. If you watch the Saturday show, just go back and watch it. Watch the.
I think I can almost recreate it. Here, this is what I said. I said Panthers are going to come out. They got a new quarterback midway through the season, similar to getting a new head coach through the season. The other 21 personnel on the field are going to absolutely play lights out. Andy Dalton's going to throw for 350. He's going to do his thing. I think it's close, but I think the Raiders cover because they are the better team. Jake came out and said, "Fuck
Fuck
the
the
Raiders.
Raiders.
Give me the
I said
Panthers a million." Literally, he said, "Give me the Panthers by a million."
by a million, ladies and gentlemen. God, I hate the Raiders. They're such a bad organization, and they just proved me right once again. Joey, if you're watching, told you, buddy. Oh
They are,
man,
dude.
and I feel so bad for Bryce Young. The dude just, I
Like I
mean,
understand the Raiders are a perennial, 800 team or a 500 team, my bad, going 8-9 somewhere around there, 9-8. But what in your mind thinks, let
dream
me
on
get
here.
Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as my two quarterbacks and yeah, this franchise is going to be good. Like I just don't understand that.
Oh, they're not. They're not going to be good at all.
I just
Uh, they'll never be good as long as they have their owner, and I will stand by that.
When
Al
was Aiden
Davis roll.
O'Connell drafted?
Aiden O'Connell was last year,
No, I'm saying what round?
4th or 5th.
And then Gardner was 7th
Gardner was drafted by the Jags. Yeah,
in like
somewhere
the
late. I think it was like 5th or
7th.
6th.
I think he was 7th, and then Bradford went down, and then Foles went down, and then he started cooking.
Minshew Mania also beat Denver Broncos. Lost the
Oh,
jersey bet because of that. Juan, you're welcome. I hope you wear it proudly. But Andy Dalton, he just showed that he is the veteran presence. He
yeah.
is the bridge quarterback that you need,
Mm-hmm.
which you should have started last year so Bryce Young could learn and develop. But no, they threw him in with no receivers, a 32-year-old Adam Thielen, and said, go get hit 100 times.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. The man looked lost, no confidence. The team rallied behind Andy Dalton. He looked decisive. We finally got to see Deontay Johnson do what he does best. And he
That's
went,
5-yard in routes or slants. Yeah, he was cooking.
dude, 8 catches, 122 yards, touchdown. Sadly, they did lose Adam Thielen. He isn't going to play this week. He had 3 catches, 40 yards, and touchdown. And then, man, Chuba looked good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you can throw the ball is they don't have 8 people in the box. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's just crazy to see what you can do in that system where we were expecting Bryce Young to do what Andy Dalton did, but Bryce Young just looks no confidence. Just you could
Yeah,
tell
he's
by his
just beat
demeanor.
down. He's gotta go he's gotta take the Sam Darnold route, realistically. I think the Panthers trade him away for a 3rd or 4th, maybe a 5th, whatever you can get out of him.
Go sit behind a
Yeah,
great offensive mind.
yes.
And yeah, no, and I love it. I agree with that totally. And then as far as the Raiders go, Zamir White, average
Cook,
quarterback or average running back. I apologize.
cooks.
Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, they ain't it. And poor Devontae Adams, man.
He said, "I'm gonna
Just-
die out here." If you guys watch
They're gonna
Receiver.
trade him.
Yeah, if you
I
guys
think the
watch
Raiders
Receiver
will
on
trade him
Netflix, he
before
goes,
the
fighting for my life out here."
fighting for my fucking life out here, dude. They'll
I
trade
feel
him, but
so bad
Brock
for that.
Bowers is the lone bright spot on this entire offense, man. I mean,
I
Trey
tell you,
Tucker look good,
yeah,
but Brock Bowers is
yeah, it's the whole
elite.
team.
And me saying something good about the Raiders, anybody is a shock.
So
But the Raiders are third place in their division, and Carolina is fourth place. Bolton, you see them changing?
no, no.
No.
But what I do see though is how quickly do you think Devonte Adams went to the GM's office after that game and said, "Please get me to the fucking Jets. Please get me to the Jets."
Give me to the
You know
dude.
it's happening.
Dude, he should go to the Commanders. That would be fun.
Ayuk shouldn't have signed that deal. He should have went to the Commanders with Jaden Daniel. That would have been fun.
That would have been fun as well. I mean, you can't catch a cold, much less a football right now. But
Yeah,
next game on the docket is the Miami Dolphins. They went to Seattle without Tua, and it showed.
yeah,
They lost 3-24. Seattle is a good football team, and I will
yeah.
say this: their defense is fast, hungry, quick. They're not missing tackles like they did last year, and Miami just you could tell that Skylar Thompson is a quarterback that should not be a quarterback. He should not be rostered on any team, personally. And sorry, Skylar, I got nothing against you, buddy. But when I got Tyreek Hill, when I got Jalen Waddle, and you can't get these guys the ball,
Yeah.
like at all, come on
No,
now.
and what's crazy is he's 3 years into the system.
Yep.
He's been their backup for 3 years, and he still is just terrible. That's
Oh yeah.
why, they signed Tyler Huntley. He'll be starting. We'll
He'll
see
be
no more
starting
Skylar
next week. Yeah.
Thompson. We'll see no
I,
more Skylar Thompson, but what's crazy about this game is watching the film back, if Tua plays this game, Dolphins win this game because Seattle turned the ball over. They weren't, particularly pristine with a lot what they were doing. Miami's defense was giving Seattle, like a hard time other than the first quarter.
yep.
I think if Tua plays, the Dolphins win this game. Gino threw 2 picks, like they weren't, they didn't look that good on offense. Gino just did enough to say, I can mail this one in because Skylar Thompson is putting himself in a 3rd and 8, and he's doing the same thing that these backup quarterbacks do. We're 3rd and 8, and you're throwing a 5-yard in route, expecting a wide receiver to then, with somebody draped over their back, figure out how to make 3 more yards. It is terrible reads.
Do you know when Kenneth Walker is supposed to come back? Is it next week?
I have no idea.
I mean, I think he might come back next week, and that really just upsets me because we finally get to see Zach Charbonnet and what he
He's
is.
so
And
good.
I know you or Tim, one of the two.
He's
y-
good.
No,
He's
you
been
were talking
very.
shit.
No, I've never said shit
So
about
it must have
Charbonnet.
been Monty. One of y'all came on here and just said Zach Charbonnet is not good. He's not going to do good. And I was
No,
just blown away
I'm
by
a
that
fan.
because literally everybody and their cousin saw the talent when he was at UCLA, when he got
Yeah,
drafted. And then he went to possibly the worst spot ever that you could have went to behind Kenneth Walker.
yeah,
But Seattle was just like, we're going to have 2 great running backs. And for
yeah.
good reason, because Kenneth Walker's been hurt, but Zach Charbonnet's been going off. He
Well, that's
is the
why they
bright spot.
drafted Zach Charbonnet, because they know Kenneth Walker can't stay healthy.
Maybe. That is a fun take there. But we got Miami at 1 and 2 in 3rd place. And then we
Yeah,
have Seattle at the top of their division by 2.
dude, the West is wide open. The AFC East stays as is, but if Seattle keeps playing this way, they're gonna take the fucking division because it is brutal. As fun as it is to say how terrible Arizona is, they play good physical football. the Rams just, we'll talk about that game in a second against the 49ers. Like, I don't know who's going to come away with this, but if Seattle keeps this up, I don't know how they don't take the division.
Yeah. Seattle should. I'll be pulling for the Cardinals. You know me.
Oh
Always
yeah.
pull for the homies teams when I can, unless they're the fucking Raiders. Um, but next game is the Baltimore Ravens went to Dallas
And cooked.
and beat them. This score does not do it justice.
No.
It was, as you can see, Dallas 19 points in the fourth quarter. And this is kind of where I'm kind of scared for Baltimore. They're 1-2. Dallas 1-2. Dallas is last place in their division. If you didn't know, Gucci, if you're still watching, buddy, they look like shit. But Baltimore also, man, that is the second time they've given up a huge fourth quarter lead.
Yeah.
And like Lamar only threw the ball 15 times. I mean, he was 12 for 15 and a touchdown. But man, the running game. So I got two questions for you, Bolton. First one. Is Dallas's run defense that bad?
It is. It is god awful. It's god awful. Look what
Man, it looks
Kamara did the week prior, and then who'd they play week one? Jerome Ford still had a pretty decent game, even though it was
yeah,
a
he did.
blowout, and they stopped giving him the ball, but he still had a pretty decent average per carry.
Yep.
No, their run defense is terrible. As you know, like somebody who's got a Roger Staubach helmet above my head right there, like I grew up in Dallas, so I still follow the team, even though they're not, my team per se. I can't name either of their two interior defensive linemen or their two starting middle linebackers.
Nope, neither can I.
I don't know what they have in the middle of the field. I know that they've got Demarcus Lawrence as one defensive end, and then they got Micah Parsons at the other side of defensive end. But who is it? Eric Kendricks maybe is like their middle linebacker one, like 30-something-year-old Eric Kendricks that came from the Vikings, like, and a rookie. Like, what are like this is just a terrible, terrible, just front seven. If you get rid of the pass rush, and if you can run the ball, you're gonna beat the Cowboys. And the fucking Ravens showed it. It was terrible.
Yeah. The bright spot is Jake Ferguson came back, looked healthy as ever with 11 targets, caught
Love
6 balls
that.
for 95 yards.
Yeah, and we love Schoonmaker getting 5 yards, don't we?
Yeah, I thought the knee injury was a little more,
So did I, but apparently, whatever. But I mean,
but
it's
it
what
is what
kind of
it is.
also bothers me is the the Cowboys love to pass the ball, right? Because they don't have a running game. If you looked at the running back stats up there, they were not very good at all.
Mhm.
Rico Dow did okay. Zeke looked terrible. Zeke barely even touched the damn ball. Rico only got 8 carries, and that's not good at all. But
You're giving your 5'6", 180 pounds
if that, 180
Duke
maybe.
Vaughn 2
Yeah,
carries for some
maybe.
reason.
But then you also like look at the receiving. Like it's literally CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. Turpin did okay because he got a deep ball for the tutty. Um, but Brandon Cooks didn't show up. They don't have like a really good number two. Michael Gallup retired. Brandon Cooks is getting in. He's well into his 30s now. Like they don't have a really good number two. They pay CD all this money, so I don't know what now they're going to do in terms of who's going to come and step up and be the wide receiver that the Cowboys want to be, because they want to be in this shotgun all the time with Dak. They want to have a tight end and three wide receivers, but I mean, shit, the defense doesn't care about the other two wide receivers. They're just going to bracket CD all game.
Yeah, true. So Baltimore is second place in their division, and Dallas is, like I said, dead last. Gucci, if you're watching, dead last in their division. Dead last. Bolton,
This is fun.
where are the Dallas Cowboys at in their division?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they play the Commanders week 17 or 18, and I think that's going to decide the second spot.
Ooh, okay.
Realistically, this is the first year of Jaden Daniels, and he's doing exactly what he did in college, and he's doing exactly what all of these running quarterbacks do their rookie year. There's not a lot of tape out on him, so I think he's still going to succeed.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels plays Arizona in Arizona this coming week, and I'm probably betting on the Commanders winning that game.
We'll
I
talk
think
about
Jaden
Jaden Daniels
Daniels,
in a minute.
huh? Yeah,
We'll
I
talk about
think
him in a
Jaden
minute.
Daniels is that dude. So I think that they're fighting for the number 2 spot, and I think Cowboys could fall to 3 very easily. I think the Eagles have the squad to take away that division.
Okay. This game was just an absolute heartbreaker if you watched it. San
Yeah,
Francisco went to the LA Rams here and lost. They lost it, ladies and gentlemen. And Bolton, I don't know about you, but this is the second time the 49ers defense has not held up anything at the end of
they
the game.
their secondary is terrible.
Yeah, it looks rough. And shout out to the Rams, man. They
They
don't
made it
quit.
work.
They don't quit. They got their
No,
18th, 19th guy they found off the street corner and said, "Hey, come play wide receiver for us real quick." And Matthew
yeah,
Stafford did his thing. Kyron Williams did his thing. 24 carries. Hey, Dallas, take notes. Hey, Eagles, take notes. Kyron Williams is
run the
5'10",
ball.
200 pounds. They give him the ball 24 times. They do what's required. They grinded it out. They did the best job of just taking, chipping away, because they were down 14-0 at the first quarter.
Yeah, and the 49ers looked damn good that first quarter too. They literally were just marched it right down the field. They look so good.
Jawan Jennings out there deciding to be his best Jerry Rice impersonation. 11 catches, 175 yards, and the fucking triple crown itself, 3 touchdowns. You,
God.
you think it's unstoppable. But where I think the 49ers failed was, yes, Jordan Mason got 19 carries. You needed to keep running. Stop passing the ball.
Yeah.
And they just didn't. They didn't make the game short. They gave Stafford enough time to come back into the game, and they lost. And it just
They're another team that just couldn't put it away. This is a divisional team that you're playing against. This is a team that knows you so well, right?
Yep.
And so think about it. Sean McVay plays this team twice a year. Sean McVay knows that Bosa's out there, even though he was injured. He knows Fred Warner is out there, and if you watch the game back, there is a metric shit ton of misdirection handoffs to purposely get Fred Warner out of position because he was shooting gaps trying to be, the hero of that defense because the secondary was getting absolutely cooked. So
Yeah.
every second, Matthew Stafford returned to his right, he immediately is going straight to that gap thinking it's going that way. And then Matthew Stafford turns completely around, hands it off to the left side. Boom, easy touchdown, Kyron Williams. It happened over and over and over again to where Nick Bosa had a terrible game because he was constantly having to lock in with the left tackle and then separate and then look where the ball is because he has no idea what the hell's going on. Fred Warner's jumping gaps that he shouldn't be and missing tackles that he shouldn't be missing. And they just let Kyron cook. Kyron had 2 rushing touchdowns, but people don't also understand he also had a receiving touchdown on a play that should have been something that Fred Warner was supposed to be there for, but all of the misdirection had him going the wrong direction.
Yep.
And you just cannot let a division opponent stay in that game. It is 14-0. How are you going to let them slowly claw their way back into that game? It was just, good on the Rams because they did it with Tutu Atwell. Jesus, like he had a hell of a game, but I
Yeah.
just I don't know how you let them claw their way back into it. But man, like that was a good game for the Rams.
And Matthew Stafford, being the vet he is, he just spread the ball around, took what the defense gave him, and they just chipped away. So both these teams are at the bottom of the division. You see any difference here?
San Francisco gets second, LA last. Yeah, that's how I see it.
This division's fun, so we'll
I
see
hate
how
it.
that goes.
I hate this division.
Oh, dude, I think it's so much fun to watch. I love it. Another fun game that was fun in the first half and an absolute snooze fest in
You
the
want to know
second
what
half.
happened? I can tell you everything. I've watched this game over twice now.
Oh, I bet you have. Bolton, if you don't know and you are watching, is our resident Arizona Cardinal fan. Yes, they do exist as well.
Yeah, they're out there. I promise.
They're out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Bolton,
you
let me
couldn't have
know.
seen it at State Farm Stadium. I promise you that. I have a photo that I sent to a couple of people.
Yep.
There was just as much blue in State Farm Stadium as there was red. It's been that way for years and years and years. Like we just have no home field advantage. If you ever see the Cardinals at home with a -1.5 betting line, that 1.5 to 2 points is supposed to be for the home field advantage. We have no home field advantage. We are terrible at showing up to games. But let me break this game down to you, and I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Okay, let's go. The floor is yours.
The Lions decided to play Lions football. They ran the ball all over a terrible defense. I've been saying this for weeks now. The Cardinals have a terrible defense. Granted, the defensive coordinator and our head coach Jonathan Gannon, we have a team that flies around the ball. We are, very pursuit happy. We make a lot of plays because we're fast and we're, physical. In terms of talent, we are terrible. We are terrible on defense. So, what happened? David Montgomery decides to rush for 5 yards a carry. The only reason they stopped handing him off the ball, not only did David Montgomery have 100 yards, Jameer Gibbs had, 83. That game was over from there, right? So they were always going to win that no matter what. And then whenever they did decide to go to play action, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10-yard in, wherever it is, he's somewhere in the middle of the field, catches, gets a first down, they keep it moving. On defense for the Lions and offense for the Cardinals, we couldn't get anything going. The Cardinals, the first 2 weeks, had a lot of success with 13 personnel, where they had 3 tight ends and 1 wide receiver, where they would purposely double team, let's say Aiden Hutchinson for this matter.
Mm-hmm.
That got stuffed every time. Look at the yards. James Conner, 9 carries, 17 yards. So the run game's gone. So we
Yep.
have to now all of a sudden start playing a different style of offense that we're not used to doing. So now we're going out there, and Marvin Harrison was bracketed for most of that game. Kyler threw one up in the second quarter, which was stupid. That got intercepted. It was like, why are we throwing this ball right to the safety that's sitting there? And then whenever Marvin Harrison wasn't bracketed and he had one-on-one like press coverage, it was a quick 10-yard, back shoulder, like this ball's coming out hot, and we couldn't complete those. So we had like no offense. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't pass the ball. The score is not indicative of how the game went. Like this should have been a 20-0 ball game. Realistically, we just did not look good all around. So you guys see 7 points, but if you watch the game back, it was terrible. That the Lions team is for real. That Lions defense is for real. That Lions offense is for real. When they're playing Lions football, when they are running the ball. Hold on, how many times did their running backs get the ball? Quick
29
math, 39
39.
times. Their
Yeah.
running backs got the ball 39 times. When they are playing Lions football, that is the team to beat. There's
Okay.
just nothing around it.
I agree with you. Detroit in second place, only behind the Minnesota Vikings, and Arizona is in second place right now, currently because points against.
Arizona's probably third. Give me Detroit to win it all. I think Minnesota eventually is going to – I think Detroit's going to beat Minnesota twice.
Okay, man, that's a bold take there. I mean,
if they're
you don't
playing
know what's
Minnesota
gonna happen.
football, though, dude, like they are – or I'm sorry. If they're playing Detroit football, dude, they are on it.
And then we got Sunday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is the Taylor Swift-led Kansas City Chiefs. They went to Atlanta to play the Falcons.
What's
and
up,
they
Pete?
went in there.
Sorry, Pete said.
They went in there and won 22-17. And
Yeah.
it was a pretty boring game.
It was.
If you watched. Pat Mahomes went 26 for 39 for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He threw a ball to I can't even remember who was the receiver, but he just underthrew it. It looked weird. Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked like himself in the first 3 games.
He
personally.
said that too. He's come out and said, he's like, dude, I'm not playing good and we're still winning, which, is kind of indicative of their team. Like, good on them. Like they're still cooking even without him, which is scary because come, Thanksgiving, if he's on one, like, this team's going to go on another go.
Oh, yeah. And then Kirk Cousins came out here and Kirk Cousins came out here. What's up, Pete? You missed my Broncos spill, man. It was a good time. And then you mean the rest versus the Falcons? Yes, Gingy, I do mean the rest versus the Falcons.
Yeah,
That
it's hard
pass
to argue.
interference call at the end against Kyle Pitts that wasn't called, so it wasn't pass interference.
I don't know. I've
You
got
have
like
mixed feelings?
it's. I was taught from a young age, like when playing football, if you leave it into the hands of the ref, you're always going to lose.
Mhm.
Why throw a 50-50 ball on the last play, on the last play of the game to try to win that? Why not try to get a play call where somebody's open? Like if you're leaving it in the hands of the refs to call that, like why? I feel like there could have been a better play call.
Broncos covering the spread. I want to go to the game, but I don't want to be let down. I think they covered the spread. Just a
Who they
little
playing?
spoiler into our Saturday pick'ems that we do on BSing Sports. They are 7.5-point dogs right now, I'm pretty sure,
To who?
to the Jets. I think they cover it. I think the game goes under, and I want to see what Bo Nix does, but I personally wouldn't go to the game just solely because I don't want to be let down, which is the whole reason
Yeah,
I didn't go to the
it's a
Tampa.
good shot to be let down.
Yeah, I didn't go to the Tampa Bay game for that exact reason. Is I didn't want to be let down, and it turns out it would have been the most fun I would have ever probably had at the Denver Broncos game. But
Hey, you had fun at the Chiefs Broncos when we went.
I had a blast, except at the end when I was
Yeah.
getting
Oh,
told
you
to
mean when we
fuck
missed
it.
our flight?
No. I'm talking about when we were leaving the stadium and random people were like, "Yeah, fucking leave, Broncos fan." I was just like, "Okay, guys,
Oh,
like
I was too
you beat
tanked. I
the
don't remember
last
that.
place Broncos, woo!"
Yeah.
And now I hate Chiefs fans for that reason.
I had a good time.
Ooh, this guy's got a solid stash.
Oh, thank you, Pete. Oh, thank you. I
Always.
got solid take, solid stash. I do what I can around here.
Oh yeah, we are. But yeah, this game was pretty boring. Kirk Cousins, I finally feel like he's off his Achilles injury, starting to feel more comfortable throwing, looking
He was
around.
moving, dude. He was
Yeah,
moving. I saw him
the
out of the pocket a couple of times there. He was moving around. It was just like Aaron Rodgers. Like both of them, they were slinging it for sure.
oh yeah, and just Bijan Robinson needs to see more of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Well, granted, he was only averaging 1.9 yards a carry, but I do think that they can do a better job of getting him the ball somehow. If the zone run's not there, let's go to counter. Let's go to trap. Let's move a guard. Let's start pulling people and finding a way to get people open or him to get some running lanes. There's got to be something.
For those that were watching before the game started and while the show was going, Christian Gutierrez, you know him as the Candle King, came on here and said, "We ride the White Sox, no runs, first inning." That was his bet. And he just texted me and said it hit. He wanted me to let y'all know that. Just a
Good on him.
little tidbit there. He
Yeah,
did call
granted,
it.
he's on a work trip and he's in Virginia, so he can actually legally sports bet now. And this dude's doing dumb shit.
Oh, he's betting some crazy things, but you
Oh,
love to see it. And if you love being a degenerate and gambling, our Friday night show is where we come on. We drink beers, we talk bets, and we have a good
yeah,
time.
it's a good time.
But Kansas City, first place, 3-0 in the division. Atlanta, 1-2.
I'm
Bolton,
not
what do you
I'm
think?
not ready to write off this Atlanta team.
No?
No, I am not
Really?
ready to write off this Atlanta team. I I would almost bet to say that New Orleans is going to end up being the pretenders, and it's going to be an Atlanta Tampa Bay run for that NFC South.
I 100% agree with that. And then Kansas City, they're going to
Yeah,
win the division.
yeah, Kansas got it.
Even though I took Denver at like plus 2,200 to win the division.
Why are you
That
just
ain't
giving
gonna happen.
Vegas your money?
Nah, it's just
Is
money.
it even Vegas that you're giving your money to, or is it an offshore fucking account?
That was Vegas. This is when I was in Ohio at the Fantasy Football
Oh,
Expo. Yeah. And then we got into our last two games, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all. We know this game has been, or this show has been a little longer. We like to keep it between 45 minutes to an hour. There was just a lot to talk about, and this was our first show, so we're kind of test
yeah,
running it.
yeah. We're
Please
seeing
go to
see
YouTube.
what it is.
Yeah. Please go to YouTube, like and subscribe. Just help us build the brand. We appreciate it. We are doing a card giveaway that will be this Sunday. So go follow at BSing Sports and go follow the rules on that tweet and subscribe to us. And you can be getting free cards. And then We're going to do that 4 times throughout the year. And for the Super Bowl, if you are in those drawings, you are put in for a drawing for a free jersey at the
As
Super
long as
Bowl.
it's
We're
not Marvin
giving,
Harrison.
yeah,
Can't get
we're
a
giving
Marvin
away
Harrison
a
jersey,
free
apparently.
jersey. So please go follow us on Twitter and go follow the rules and win some free shit. Because who doesn't like free shit, right?
Yeah, I like free shit. And I asked, I said, can I get a Marvin Harrison jersey? Still hasn't signed his NFLPA deal, so no Marvin Harrison jersey, but everybody else is still up for grabs.
Everybody else is still up. And you're like one of the very few Cardinals fans there ever was. So
That is true. I know.
the
I'm gonna start
next
posting
game,
this on my Cardinals fan group, and I'm gonna have just 1,000,000 Cardinals fans in here.
you don't have 1,000,000 Cardinals fans. Sorry, buddy. You got like
I
10.
have a
maybe.
Facebook group with like 50,000 of them. All right.
I don't believe it. Bring them on. But Jacksonville went to the Buffalo Bills and just absolutely got their ass beat, 47-10. And bye, Paul. We love to see you, buddy.
Bye, Paul. I don't even know who to blame on this. Like, this game was so bad, I turned it off and immediately went to the Redskins game, like as it was happening.
Yeah.
But I don't like.
I stopped watching this game after the first half. I think halfway
Yeah,
through
when
the
it
second
was
quarter.
when it was like 38-3. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's when you turned it off. I turned it off in the fucking first quarter.
And then I went to go watch Jane Daniels, of course. But the Buffalo Bills, they look legit right now without Stephon
They're
Diggs.
cooking.
Josh Allen just looks like he is in total control of this offense, and they are running the ball efficiently. Josh Allen is making what the defense gives him, making all the right reads. He is dumping the ball off to everybody. Shakir called it. Is the wide receiver one on that team right now. He runs the routes. He has the consistency with Josh Allen right now. And James Cook is cooking.
He is cooking.
This team looks unstoppable right now. And I don't.
No, we still got 2 more games, and then we got to talk about tomorrow's game as well.
2 more games, and then we're going to give our Thursday hot takes.
Yeah.
But Jacksonville just looks absolutely lost. Trevor Lawrence is playing worse than Daniel Jones, and he gets shit on by people shit on Daniel Jones. Is it Mac Jones time, buddy? He went 5 of 8, dude.
No, it's not Mac Jones time because he fucking took a snap and fumbled it and gave it right back to Buffalo. Well, it's not Mac Jones time.
You can't take Mac Jones out of the offense. Dude.
I don't know who do we fault here? Is it Doug Peterson's play calling? Is it the lack of a predominant number 1 wide receiver? Like, just look at their top 3 wide receivers. We have a rookie out of LSU who we hope does great. But
we
then
have Brian Thomas Jr. Love him, and then we have
Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk, who are 2 just wide receiver 2s on any other team.
Okay, why are you talking shit about Christian Kirk? That man is legit. And if he didn't get hurt last year, he has one of the biggest years ever for his life.
Yeah, 1,000 yards?
Okay, now chill out.
Dude,
man, you really hate Christian Kirk.
He was with the Cardinals, but he's always been a wide receiver too.
He is a great slot receiver. That is what he is.
I don't know. He's not even a slot guy. He's a burner. But so is Gabe Davis.
And Brian Thomas
Jr. Christian
Jr.
Kirk is like 6'2". Like that dude's pretty big. I wouldn't even put him in the slot. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Well, that's on me then.
But I don't understand the Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas, right? Like, are they expecting Brian Thomas to be Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors? Even though Brian Thomas is a bigger wide receiver that makes, more contested catches. Like, they have all of these receivers that are burners, but none of them are great route runners, Christian Kirk, deep ball, got it. Gabe Davis, his whole time in Buffalo, deep ball, got it. Brian Thomas Jr. I just
runs 3 routes: deep in, go ball, slant.
Yeah, but granted, they were without Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram's not going to give you 37 points and make this game competitive.
No, but Evan Ingram was the safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence, and I think he is a big part of why this offense hasn't been looking good. But you got Brenton Strange over here putting up points. Well, should I say points? He had 5 targets, 2 catches for 12. Last week he put up points fantasy-wise. Yeah. Tank Bigsby looks irrelevant. Travis Etienne is your bell cow, and you're not giving him.
He looked so good in week 2. Why did they stop using him?
Well, you see this. They went down early. They just didn't
Yeah, I
run
know.
anymore.
I mean, yeah, it was they were down 38-3 in the half. I understand that you're going to stop running, but still, if you're going to give ETN 11, why not go like 5-7, something like that. Tank Bisbee, I have a lot of hopes as, I hate Auburn, but I want Tank Bigsby to be good.
Fair enough. But Jacksonville, third in the division at 0-3, only ahead of the Tennessee Titans, and Buffalo at 3-0, one of the few undefeated teams left.
So, man, I already know I screwed up my I picked every division winner and I had Miami winning. Boy,
Oh,
was I mistaken. Buffalo's going to win that. There's
yeah.
not even a shot Miami gets within second. Jacksonville, I think, is fighting for second in that division as well, man. Like they'll figure it out eventually. They'll start clicking, but so will the Colts, and then Houston's still Houston. They just, ran into a buzzsaw that is, the Vikings this go around.
Yeah, right. And then I think
What a
Jacksonville,
game. Who called it? Who called it?
right? Uh, I think Jacksonville finishes third in their division, and I think the Buffalo Bills win their division as
Yeah.
well. I don't think that changes. But the last game on the docket for review, Washington Commanders winning to the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals. And the score does not dictate what happened. The Commanders went in there and they handled business. Jay
Every
Daniels went in there and stood on business. And
it's
he looks good.
like you were saying, the score isn't indicative. Come fourth quarter, every time Jaden Daniels got into a third and medium, money. Every single time, money. That dude, what's he averaging now? I think it's like a 90% completion rating through his first 3 weeks in the NFL.
It's
Something
something
like
high.
that.
I don't
It's
know.
high 80s, somewhere around there. It's the highest that any rookie's ever done. He also is second all time,
80.3.
80.3. He also is second all time for rushing in the first 3 weeks as a rookie, only behind RG3, also commander. But this dude is on fire. If you saw that game, this dude is throwing absolute dots to Scary Terry. This dude was cooking. He was confident in the pocket. When he got out of the pocket, he was still looking downfield. When he needed to run, he picked it up. He didn't really take too many big hits. God, he looks good. I have no words other than, man, this team is cooking. And I picked him for the pick'ems last week on the Saturday show. Whenever you guys go and eventually watch that, I said this dude is money. And until the Bengals can figure something out, this LSU on LSU crime. But man, it was a hell of a
It
game.
was beautiful. And they went nuts. First game since like 1940 to not have a turnover or a punt.
And 2
If
weeks,
you
2 weeks total. He hasn't punted in 2 weeks.
Oh, no, you're talking about Jane Daniel. I'm talking about, like,
Oh,
this game in general. It was just a
oh
fun
yeah,
game to watch.
oh yeah.
People hating on Joe Burrow, but he went 29 of 38 for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He was
He
also
took 2
throwing dots
sacks.
to Jamar Chase, dude. That dude, he was cooking as well. But
Yeah.
man,
Just I don't know what more they can do. The defense is at fault to me for
yeah,
this, but the Bengals did not look bad, and they didn't look bad against the Chiefs last week, but they played the Chiefs and the refs, and you're not going to win those games. Although it was pass interference, ladies and gentlemen, chill out. It
yeah.
has to be called, but also it was holding too. They didn't call that
If you're putting your team's game
on the
into the
ref.
ref's hands,
You're a
you're wrong.
loser.
You're wrong.
You're a big old loser.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but Scary Terry finally got his 100-yard game. Love to see it. Of course, it took 4th and 4 bomb, but I'd like to see them get him the ball more. Luke McCaffrey coming out of nowhere. Zach Ertz being the security blanket he is. And Brian Robinson Jr. is just running like a man possessed. Austin Eckler looked good, but he got rocked. And
Don't you love the fact that Zach Ertz is absolutely just handicapping what are good young tight ends? So his old ass is still taking tight end 1 snaps. Think about
Ben
it.
Sinnott.
He did it to Dallas Goddard. Then
Mhm.
he came to the Cardinals and did it to McBride.
Mhm.
And now he's doing it again.
Yep. Ben Sinnott is a deep hold for the dynasty football fans out there. You can probably get him for cheap right now because people need him. But yeah, Zach Ertz just handicaps everyone he's around.
Yeah. If you have a good tight end, you pick up Zach Ertz for a year. I don't know if they're learning something or whether he's just absolutely hiding the potential, but he does it every time.
And just because I want to get this on camera, because it probably might not ever happen again, who knows? It is a long football season. The Washington Commanders are first in the NFC East right now. And I get to say that and not lie.
Yeah.
And then Cincinnati is dead last, winless Cincinnati in their division. Bolton, does this change?
Yeah, I think Cincinnati beats out Cleveland, but I think they've dug themselves into a pretty steep hole. I think Baltimore's figured themselves out. They did a lot more pistol, like I was saying for the last 2 goddamn weeks. Baltimore's
did.
doing a lot more pistol to get Derrick Henry the ball. I just don't know that Cincinnati can with Pittsburgh the way they're playing with their defense and Baltimore going to actually start playing good football. I don't know that Cincinnati can dig themselves out of this hole. The Commanders, dude, the sky's the limit. I don't even know where to put them. I really don't. I know the Eagles win the division, but I mean, goddamn, like they are a wagon. They probably beat the Cardinals. I would, as a Cardinals fan, they probably beat the Cardinals come Sunday.
We'll see. Tune in for our picks, and this is the slate we will be picking Saturday. So tune in for all our picks. We do a little friendly wager. We're probably going to branch out more next year, but we do a pick'ems every year. And this year we got like 10 guys, 10 of the buds, and we're doing our picks. Loser of that pick'ems got to wear. They have to go buy merchandise. And
No. We ship the same hat around to each other. I
No,
don't know what
I'm
you're
not talking about the gambling podcast, Bolton.
I don't know. Oh,
I'm talking about Saturday.
sorry.
But yes, we do wear the clown hats for our Friday podcast. We're always on here. We do a ton of fun, a lot of drinking. But the game tomorrow, Bolton.
Yes,
Tim
they are
Hawkins, yes,
both
we
2
were
and
tied with
1.
the Eagles.
Washington has a better points for and against.
Yep, and so therefore are in first. This Thursday game, we got the Dallas Cowboys going to the New York Giants.
Yep, at MetLife.
I'm not afraid to. I'm not afraid to put a little money line bet on there for the Giants.
I'm going under, and I'm not opposed with the Giants, right? But hear me out. There's only one way the Giants win this game. Devin Singletary over 100 yards.
Devin Singletary for 100 yards. And like we just talked about, Dallas' run defense is terrible. So
if the Giants run 30 times, I don't care who's getting the fucking ball. If you run 30 times against the Dallas Cowboys that have a terrible front seven other than their 2, pass rushing defensive ends or outside linebackers or whatever you want to refer to them as, they got the middle of the field wide open. If Daniel Jones is stepping back and throwing 40 times, Bland is going to get a pick. Diggs is going to get a pick. Like we're in bad shape. We do not need to be going into that matchup if I'm the Giants. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm loading the fucking box and I'm bracketing Malik Neighbors and that's it. And hoping that he can find somebody else, maybe Darius Slayton or somebody. I don't know. But I don't know that they're out there. Or Wandale. Wandale's cooking.
He is cooking. But ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for us. Thank you for coming to our first NFL review here at the BSC Network, where we do a little bit of BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. We'll see you next week.